Thank you very much for coming. It's great to have you because we have lots of questions for you. We want to understand about the uprising, about the interim government, and I'm sure there are many other questions from this audience. I'm Naomi Hossain. I work here at SOAS with Pallavi Roy, Mushtaq Khan, and other colleagues here in SOAS. We have been doing a lot of Bangladesh-related events and research and other activities. Today, we're very pleased to have this very interesting session, which is organized in conjunction with the Bangladesh High Commission and the SOAS South Asia Institute. So a few introductions before we get started. Mahfuj Alam, as you know, as we all know, is one of the leaders of the mass student people movement that rose against the Awami League regime under Sheikh Hossain. She resigned and fled to India. I'm not telling anyone anything they didn't know. I'm just reminding us when the army declined to shoot any more young people. That was on August the 5th of 2024. Since then, an interim government headed by the Nobel Prize winner, Grameen Bank founder Muhammad Yunus has been in place, trying to introduce governance reforms and steer the country back to multi-party elections, although without the Awami League competing on this occasion. And Mahfouz is now the information advisor to the government. And so among the things we hope to hear from you today are about the current environment for journalism and free speech and so on in the post-uprising Bangladesh. So many thanks for coming to speak to us today. Madam Ambassador Abida Islam, is that the correct term or are you Madam High Commissioner? It doesn't matter. Madam Ambassador Abida Islam has been the representative of the People's Republic of Bangladesh to the UK since January 2025. She is a distinguished career diplomat, previously the ambassador to South Korea and Mexico. And I'm hoping you're finding the food in London as exciting as it was in Mexico and South Korea. But in less than a year in London, she's already done a huge amount to open up the space for diaspora debate and dialogue about issues in Bangladesh. And I think it's really been very, very interesting times for us. So Professor Mushtaq Khan, who will be in conversation with Mahfouz Alam, is very well known, both among the academics who are interested in development, political economy and corruption, as well as among the Bangladeshi chattering classes, in particular for his concept of the political settlement, although I'm not sure everyone uses it in the same way that you use it, but still it's become a very common popular term, I think, in the political discourse, and that's very much due to Professor Mushtaq. So he'll be speaking for about 30 minutes. Before we move to Madam Ambassador for her opening remarks, I just wanted to say a few words about Bangladesh studies here at SOAS. So this is something we're really trying to invest in. In the past few years, especially the last 2 years, we've had a lot of very high-profile Bangladesh events. We've had film screenings, we've had panel discussions, book launches, and academic seminars. And this is all part of our broader agenda to create space for Bangladeshi excellence in the social sciences, the arts and humanities, SOAS being a very special school. As part of this Global Bangladesh Studies Initiative, we are planning to develop short online courses about Bangladeshi history, culture, and political economy. We are planning to fundraise for scholarships for Bangladeshi and Bangladeshi scholars, diaspora scholars, and also people who are interested in Bangladesh studies. And we want, in general, to create a space for Bengali and Bangladeshi voices and research and creative excellence in general. We think this is important because Bangladesh, as we know, is the 8th largest nation in the world, but we hardly have any voice on the global stage unless there's a disaster or a conflict. We also know that a nation's brand is very directly influenced by its creative and cultural industries, its academic excellence. FDI, I think we now know, is directly related to what people think about a country and what they think about its innovation, openness, and stability. And the academia and the arts and humanities play a huge role in that. So we want your support for this initiative and even more so your generous funding for this initiative, and we'll be in touch with you about that. But now I will hand over to Madam Ambassador for your opening remarks.
Professor Mushtaq Hossain Khan, Professor Naomi Hossain, distinguished guest. If there is any students here, dear students, members of British Bangladeshi community, members of the faculty, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. It's a privilege to say a few words about Honorable Advisor for Information and Broadcasting of Bangladesh, Mr. Mahfuj Alam. Before assuming his present responsibilities in the interim government of Bangladesh led by Professor Yunus, Mr. Alam had already earned national recognition as a principled and fearless student leader. During the historic July uprising of 2024, when the youth of Bangladesh rose with courage and conviction, he played a vital role in guiding the movement. Though often working from behind the scenes and under difficult circumstances, he offered direction, support, and moral strength to those at the front. In those critical days, his leadership was marked by discipline, clarity of purpose, and a deep commitment to democracy and justice, and became a guiding voice for the students, as well as symbol of people's determination for change. Today, we are honored to present him at SOAS, at the heart of London, a renowned center of academic and intellectual excellence. This occasion provides a unique opportunity to hear directly from him, to reflect on the lessons of the July uprising, and to gain deeper insight into his vision and future plans for our country and our people. His journey from student leadership to honorable advisor demonstrates the resilience of Bangladesh's democratic spirit and remind us of that new leadership, rooted in sacrifice and integrity, continues to emerge to guide the nation forward. It also underlines the vital role of young leaders in shaping governance, upholding transparency, and inspiring confidence among the people at home and abroad. We look forward to his reflections today, not only as an eyewitness and supporter of a defining national moment, but also a policymaker now entrusted with the responsibility of communication, accountability, and trust building between the state and the people. Before I conclude, let me extend my sincere thanks to SOAS, and in particular, Professor Naomi, Sunil, and her team for hosting today's discussion and for providing this distinguished platform for dialogue. Thank you all.
People are still arriving, believe it or not. So we're now at 10 to 5. We have this room until 6. So I'm going to leave it to your better judgment. What would you like to, how long you'd like to talk for? And also, we're going to be speaking in a mix of Bangla and English as we feel is appropriate. So if you don't understand anything, please ask. And Mushtaq Bhai said he would be happy to translate. Are these on? These on? These on? No.
So, thank you. And for those of us who were in Dhaka during July and August, when I see these images, I cannot but be moved again. I think those of us who were there, even a lot of people who weren't there, who just saw these images, I think it's changed us for life. And I think that that change that happened when, led by the brave students, but also the entire country joined, rickshawalas. There was this picture of this rickshawala standing and saluting the students. There were the mothers, there were the daughters, there were the kids in schools and madrasas and street people and shopkeepers. I think that was a national uprising.
Yeah.
It wasn't a student uprising, it was a student-led national uprising. And there were so many strands that were involved here. And Mahfouz, I think you talked about those multiple strands, but apart from the students, there were multiple strands also in broader society who were just waiting for the opportunity to come out. And as an economist, I just want to say a few things before I start talking to you.
Please.
I mean, I think that, there is this misperception that Bangladesh was developing very rapidly under Sheikh Hasina. And people like me had been saying for years that, yes, there was development, but it was a very peculiar kind of development. A lot of roads and bridges were built, a lot of power stations were built, but at a price that bankrupted the country. The banks were emptied out. We have 30% plus non-performing loans on average. In most countries, if you have 5% non-performing loans, your banking sector should collapse. We have banks like the Islami Bank, which 90% non-performing loans, where people came with guns and took over the board, took the money out of the banks and sent it out. I'm on the National Power Committee, and we are evaluating our power contracts, and we find that the average price of power in Bangladesh, this one of the big success stories of the Awami League was power. The average price of power in Bangladesh is 25% higher than in India. And that's because annually, almost $1 billion is being paid to the power sector as subsidies, which is not sustainable. Now, when these subsidies are taken away, as they will, they must, and the IMF has insisted that they must, we also believe they must, our power prices will be 50% higher than India's, which means that we will deindustrialize. So we are actually working hard to actually show the corruption in the power sector so that these contracts can be restructured. Now wait for this story in the next 2 or 3 months, something is going to happen in the power sector. But the scale of the corruption in every sector, the theft in every sector was unbelievable, unprecedented. So I wanted to just clear this, because many people still are under the impression that, okay, it wasn't really a very democratic country, but there was development and a lot of progress was being made. They almost destroyed the economy and we were on the verge of becoming bankrupt. And in the last year of the Awami League, they themselves failed to pay the power prices of their own cronies. They themselves were unable to liquidate the banks. They were paying their civil servants by printing money. Inflation was going through the roof. It was a massive economic disaster. And that's what happens when you have unaccountability for so long. The absence of accountability made the Awami League lose control of its own party, and the party became completely out of control. With that introduction, I think I will start engaging with Mahfouz. Because those people who came out on the streets.
Just একটা মিনিট আমার মনে can you make the announcement again about the video because আমার পরে এসেছেন হয়তো অনেকে বুঝতে পারছে না ভিডিওর ব্যাপারে ভিডিওর ব্যাপারে এখানে ভিডিও করার এক নিষেধাজ্ঞা আছে আপনারা অনেক হয়তো ইংরেজিতে বলেছে অনেক হয়তো খেয়াল করতে পারেননি তো এখানে ছবি নিতে পারবেন কিন্তু ভিডিও ওনারা করে পরে আপলোড করে দেবেন তো আপনাদের রিকোয়েস্ট করছি যে কাইন্ডলি আপনারা যদি ভিডিও না করেন ধন্যবাদ আপনাদের প্লিজ ক্যারি অন
So before I let me start the conversation.
Yes.
I wanted to just clear the introduction by covering a set of questions that many people have in their mind that not very democratic, but developmental. It was neither democratic nor developmental. And I think what the people who came out and gave their lives did for us is that they brought down a regime that was taking the country to an even bigger disaster. Having said that, I think the last year, after the uprising, was also a period when many people are disappointed with what has been achieved. They're disappointed at the slow pace of the trials against many of the killers and thieves. They're disappointed at the fact that many people of the old regime are still within the bureaucracy and still controlling many aspects of the system. They're disappointed by the fact that the unity of all the different groups that allowed this change to happen seems to have disappeared very fast. Which is to be expected, but still people are disappointed by that. They're disappointed by the fact that while there have been some progress, the law and order situation is not as good as it should be. They're disappointed at the fact that women who were out on the streets in large numbers seem to have disappeared and some of them feel unsafe again. At least this is the perception. On the other hand, there have been successes. The economy has been saved from meltdown. The banking collapse hasn't happened, and it may be averted, but we are not out of the woods. The enormous crisis with power has been resolved. The backlog of payments to the power companies has been paid. We are making progress in assessing the corruption in that sector. There has been progress in stabilizing our reserves. We were on the verge of a default because of the looting of the reserves. That has been stopped. Reserves are rising again. So it is a mixed story. But speaking personally, I am really optimistic about Bangladesh's future, because I think that, you can have very high expectations of what you can achieve in 1 year. And you yourself said that, the expectations were very high. I think that we are at least out of this repressive regime, which didn't allow us to open our mouths, which didn't allow us to debate and discuss. And what we are seeing now is that there will be a period of a lot of turmoil and uncertainty, because force had been used to repress society. And I think we are seeing some of that coming out, and this turmoil will happen. It will be a period of uncertainty. We have just seen the Daksu elections. Elections were very well. The winner was totally unexpected. But I think that is democracy. I think this will continue, and we will have to manage and proceed towards what we think is a progressive future. With that, let me start talking to our guest. So I think, Mahfuj, a lot of people are very interested to know your personal involvement in that, because we have this image of the pictures and the macro story. But there was a really interesting process of churn in Dhaka University, with the study circles and discussion groups that you were involved in, and many people were involved in. And so why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about your involvement in those study circles? What was the nature of those discussions? You were obviously against this kind of forced narrative of Mujibism in Bangladesh. There was one narrative about what happened. But what was your narrative? What were you talking about and discussing? And how did those discussions feed into the opening up and the mobilization of young people? And then how did that connect with many other movements of very different types, which were quite different from yours? And so give us some indication of your role, and then we will continue. I will ask you further questions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this event, SOAS, and our High Commission. So, yes, about my involvement in this uprising and my role specifically, I told it in many interviews that the study circle thing is something which created a kind of knowledge, kind of connection across different ideological formation. That is one thing, and another thing is that this the timing. I think after COVID in Dhaka University campus, there was a void of political activism, and after 2019 Dhaka election, there was hope that something will happen eventually, but that didn't happen because of the leadership issues, because of the issues of narrative, because of the binaries we had back then on Shapla Shahabag and other ideological issues, which created a space for Chhatro League and other pro-Awami League forces to consolidate their narratives and power even after COVID. So the opportunity was lost after 2019 Dhaka election. Nurul Haq Nur was BP, but the opportunity was not used or utilized for a better future. It didn't happen. So after 2022, the void and vacuum in politics, that created a certain I think aspiration among student leaders, including me and others, that something new should be formed and something, some kind of intellectual dialogue should be started on the ideological narratives and the ideological understanding and cross ideological solidarity. because without leftist coming towards rightist and rightist becoming more liberal, now you are seeing at Dakshu election. So this kind of thing that previous ideological binaries and ideological understanding should be avoided and new solidarity should be made. That is what we have tried to do at Dhaka University campus. And I think this is what this ideological binaries and ideological understanding, which was instrumental in Hasina's governance, that she was so much successful in tagging and framing things like, okay, you are from a background and you are from this type, you are wearing this hijab or Punjabi, so you are this guy. So and he or she is a leftist, so he or she has something to say, but not to that limit which will trouble me, so this type of thing that okay, the society is like this, you can have something to say, but uh, then when it comes to the question of governance, when it comes to the question of accountability, question of power, and question of all those things relevant to Sheikh Hasina, so she was that much into the thinking that, okay, when you are protesting against me, I'm not going to take any action, but when it is going to be a protest which involves many stakeholders and many ideologies, then she had to worry. So I think we have done which she was worried about, that those ideological forces would come together and they will have a protest, an understanding among them, and a non-binary and post-ideological, as we have termed it. So I don't know after 1 year post-ideological understanding still exists or not, but okay, we will talk about that later. But that type of thing, I think this is what we have tried to do in study circle. And even in political space, we have tried other things like, about that eight, how can I say, artist tombo of Abrar Fahad. And Abrar Fahad was someone who was very much powerful as image, as icon, as someone who has broken the binary first time in campus, that you cannot kill someone from Buet. You can kill someone in another campus, but you cannot kill someone in Buet campus tagging him as Shibir. So this is the scenario, that you cannot kill someone in Buet. So Abrafad has showed the path, I think. And after his death and his killing, it is not, he was martyred, he was killed by Amali Chatterley Guns. So after that, students came to the senses that you are a part of Shibir, Chhatru Shibir, so you cannot be killed like Bishwajit or others. So because it happened in Buet, so it created, I think it has something in Bangladesh, like Dhaka University student or Buet student, if they are killed, then people gets angry, like, okay, Dhaka University students or Buet students you can kill, unlike others in local areas. So Abrar Fahad, we have established a monument in Falashi on Abrar Fahad's killing, and about his aspiration, which involves 8 ideals. Okay, so now it is being restructured again. So it was demolished after 1 day. So at that time, this type of thing, that Abrar Fahad was becoming an icon of anti. It is, if not anti-Indian, but anti-Indian hegemony, and against all campus tortures and campus human rights violation, campus rights, student rights violation, and many things were just into this performance, into political understanding, into political activism. So those things were like block something like, okay, the Abrar Fahad and something against some events against border killings. Okay, then you have this understanding that okay, we are being killed at border. India is suppressing us. Through whom? Through Hasina. And when Modi went to Bangladesh, 2021, if I'm not wrong, then that time nearly 19 or 19 plus people were killed at a protest event. So at the time also people felt that way, that okay, this country is not run by Hasina, rather it is run by Modi, and for Modi's safety they have killed the ulemas and students, some madrasa students obviously. So I think those were the blocks which were being formed, and something happened in leftist quarter. I think after 2018 there was some understanding, some kind of understanding among leftist leaders that we have provided all those supports for a secular Bangladesh, quote unquote, and we have tried our best to be to build a liberal and a liberal order. But Sheikh Hasina has exploited us after Shahbag. It has so in their minds. I think it was being constructed like this, that she has exploited us and she has made this binary Shafla Shahbag, atheist versus Islamist, and now we are in trouble because leftists live their life on this legitimacy of being upright, being on the people's side. So they were having this self-criticism. I think it is very instrumental in Bangladesh, which is not being talked about right now because of the sort of pro-rightist alignment in societies right now. So leftists came into this understanding, and I think in our study circle we have tried to outline these two, that what Rashtriya Sanskar Andolan is, state reforms movement, or something like some people, some students leaders coming out from students union, which was usually pro-Mujibist and pro-Indian element in Dhaka University campus. So when Modi came and they were being beaten, so this time it was happening that some pro leftist and pro liberal and secular forces also came to this understanding that we have to come out of this our comfort zone, and giving yeah giving some kind of support and credibility to Hasina. Rather, we should go to the people and we should talk about constitution, talk about other things, and some people coming out from madrasa, especially Qawmi madrasa, they were thinking about okay, we were into this madrasa compound and we are having discussion about Sharia and things like that. But right now we are into the secular sphere. Okay, talk about, we have to talk about culture, art, literature, and things. And at that time, I think those groups were into this. I think it was melting pot. Like okay, people from different parts, different ideologies, and different cultures were coming together, and their common goal was this the issue of democracy, issue of Hasina, and the issue of reconstructing Bangladesh. So I think at that juncture, our study circle and our circle at Dhaka University campus played a role in understanding and in coping with this new reality. And I tried my best to involve all those stakeholders, like I have said in interview on BTV, that from like 6 to 10 groups we were having this consultation on those days in July. And after that, we were discussing among our core group that okay, what can be done tomorrow. Then we were having this okay, we can do this. But those groups from leftist to rightist, they were involved in this decision making process. So I think this understanding and this collaboration among different ideologies and cultural groups, and then on July, the connecting among all those stakeholders and making it a real thing on 5th August, that was which has been done by us, including me. Yeah.
Thank you. I think this dialogue between left and right, between religious and secular, between people who have different interpretations of our history is so important.
Yes.
That I hope that this process continues. That, at one level, of course, people have their own political agendas, they will have their own parties, but the conversation, that understanding that we have to live and let live, that Bangladesh belongs just as much to the Islamically oriented Bangladeshi as to the secular, even atheist Bangladeshi, to the Hindu Bangladeshi, to the Muslim Bangladeshi. This dialogue, I think that you guys opened up. I think we must collectively as a nation continue this dialogue wherever it takes us. But I want to continue this with a follow-up question to you, that after the fall of Sheikh Hasina, there was this whole discussion about, what to do. Should we keep the constitution? Should we get rid of the constitution? Should the students join the government? Should there be a pressure group outside the government? So I'm fascinated by that conversation because some of you then decided to join the government. And many said that maybe you should not have joined the government. Can you tell us a little bit about the judgments at that point and the conversation you had and why you took the decision you took?
I think it was about on 6th August, Nahid and Asif was talking about these things, that they wanted to go in government and they wanted to have students representation at government. I think this was debated among us, and from my side, I have tried to convince them that you shouldn't go, but rather you should be in public and you should lead the people because many things to do. And some from intellectual cultural groups should go and assist government and not in that position like advisory or ministerial position, rather in a moral legitimacy position. Okay, we are with you. We are a torch bearer of this pricing, and we are holding you accountable, going to hold you accountable. This was the idea, but okay, it happened, and they went to government. And after 3 weeks, I went to the government too, and with this responsibility of assisting Professor Muhammad Yunus on issues of politics, policy, and youth at the time. But eventually, I became an advisor. So I think it was debated, and the doubt was there that should we go or not, and if we go, what will be our responsibility, and what can be done through this participation, through this representation. But after 1 year, I think yes, the field, as we say in Bangladesh, that the public needed them much, and I think, I think it's a mixed, I think it's a mixed judgment from me. It will be that because government without us could have gone in some troublesome direction, and it has people got away from us because they didn't see us among them. They didn't. Yes, I came to London after 1 year. I think many leaders, student leaders, should have come to London and talked to the diaspora and all peoples, and in the whole world, people, student leaders should have gone already, and they should have talked to the people and all those. And you were talking about all those stakeholders from different class, different ethnicity, even different religion. They didn't go them to them. I think they were busy with some organizational activities and Dhaka centric activities, and they didn't go out of the Dhaka University, Dhaka city, even from Dhaka University peri peri. So it is where I think student leaders, including me, were should have been in public. So it is from me till now, it's a mixed judgment that we should have gone or we shouldn't have gone. I think people needed us. People needed a direction from leaders like Nahid, Asif, and And for that participation, I think there was some tension among leaders that you have gone, why shouldn't we be in this government? So I think this is a mixed. This will be a mixed judgment because it was needed.
Hindsight is perfect.
Yes.
You can see. May I ask a question about the uprising?
If he permits.
He will permit. I'm very interested in the uprising itself, because I think the dynamics of that movement, as we saw in that excellent film, were quite unexpected in many ways. You spoke so well just now, so interesting for me to hear about the way you consciously tried to overcome ideological and other divides. I mean, it's fantastic. Well, maybe we've even gone backwards in that sense in Bangladesh right now. But my question for you is this: at what stage did you realize that this movement might be the movement to remove this authoritarian government? And what stage were you sure it was going to happen?
I think on 16th July, when Hossain was murdered, and his death or killing, that created I think an emotion across Bangladeshi students, and for that reason, I think many from different backgrounds, like private university background, student, especially who are from middle class background, they were not involved in previous events. Like in 2013, it was just madrasa students. In 2018, it was just Dhaka University and some students who were having this vision for a quota. Like, okay, we are against quota. We need more jobs. So it was job. But this time it was not job. It was not just about fair participation or inclusion, or it was not about that kind of religious demands. It was about a more state reformation things. Like, okay, this state which is killing our brothers in campus, at campuses, at any at different places, we are not going to we are going to let them do whatever they want this time. So I think the shahadat, or I think the martyrdom of Abu Said and other five students, and I think there was some workers among the six. So at that day, it was decided that, okay, after shedding blood of students, no government in previous time in Bangladesh or erstwhile East Pakistan, they didn't succeed in performing in government. So I think we thought that it would be like 2 or 3 months, something like, okay, it can take time because it is Sheikh Hasina, it is not Ayub Khan, it is not even Ershad.
She was more or stronger?
Yes, we are more stronger than Ayub Khan. Because you see that yes, because you know that Ayub Khan didn't have any such ideology like, okay, Pakistan is Islamic state, and it has a Islamic Republic. It is an Islamic Republic, and it has some ideological understanding, and okay, Allahu Akbar, Narai Takbir, and things like that. But this was Ayub Khan's trickery, and everyone knew about that. And against Ayub Khan, there was Jamaat, Awami League, and all those rightist, leftist, all those political parties. You know about the DAC and all those political movement, starting from 62 to 69. And 69, there was an uprising. But Sheikh Hasina was, with her ideology, of a fascist ideology, which has entrenched into society in every spectrum of society, every sector of the Bangladeshi community. And for that reason, it was very much harder than Ayub Khan to afford to struggle against, because she has an ideology, and she has a group, ideologically driven group in whole Bangladesh. So I think this is the difference between a dictator and a fascist. So Sheikh Hasina was a fascist. She has this. She had that ideology, and the ideological entrenchment was so heavy that many school-going people were believing in Sheikh Mujib and his ideology. Okay, he was good. He was killed mercilessly, so he is good. And they were not talking about his misadventure from 72 75. So like this, Sheikh Hasina was building some icons, some stories, and people were believing this, and the whole media structure, media, and education, and other sectors, and especially cultural and intellectual class were with them, and the elite, power elites with her. And you know about CRI's Center for Research and Information, and with CRI there were everyone from our power elites, from starting from BRAC to different organizations and university teachers and professors, and from especially from this UK. There were from universities. There were many professors who were having this understanding. Okay, there is something like Mujibonomics, like Mujib's economics. You know about Mujib economics, but Mujib economics was about this. I think 74 famine, which you were I think about which you have a book. And so I think Mujib economics was being hailed by some professors in Bangladesh in even in 2023. You know about the name. So yes, so I think this type of overreaching political and ideological entrenchment was not being performed by Ayub Khan, even Ershad. So it was a different condition in Bangladesh, ideologically, culturally, politically. Yes.
Fascinating.
Very fascinating. But I think this is something that we need to discuss more in the future, because yes, there was ideology, and a lot of people bought into this ideology, particularly amongst the middle class, secular people, that Awami League represented secularism, it represented nationalism, it represented 1971 and the freedom struggle. But against that, actually, there was a very powerful counter narrative always in Bangladesh, that 1971 was fought by everybody, and Awami League was almost not there. It was in exile. It was well known that Awami League is not secular. It was very much in bed with a lot of Islamist forces in a very opportunistic way. So people knew all that, and they knew that there was a counter narrative. But I think actually what was really important in keeping everyone with that narrative was fear. That if you broke that narrative, if you said something against that narrative, you would, of course, at one point, at the extreme point, you could disappear and you would go into the Ainaghar. But your promotions will not happen, your life will not go on, you might have investigations against you, you might have a special branch file opened against you. This was a fear.
So, Professor, political settlement,
Yes.
is it just fear and ideology, or is it also money?
Yes,
Benefits.
All of that. All of that.
incentives.
This is what I would have thought.
Yes.
Yes.
Getting rich.
Yes,
Some
and
people were getting.
Some people were. So that is the flip side, right? So if you go against this narrative, you don't get your promotion, you don't become the VC, you don't become the chief of police, right? So the flip side of it is that is money. Money and fear are flip sides, and which is why I think when the power started to crack, Mujibism cracked. I mean, that people could come out and say anything they liked and nothing. Right. Yeah. So it wasn't believed. It was actually not believed. It was a narrative, but very few people, I think, really believed it. This is my opinion. Anyway, I don't want to talk about my opinion.
Yes.
You want to?
Contrary to that, I think that was believed by many. Believed by many because I think someone wrote a book, about Altaf Parvez. He wrote a book on Mujib Force, which was, I think, allegedly built by Indian establishment in 1971. And his books were not being circulated, and he was talking with us, and he was telling us that before uprising, that his books are not being circulated. So you are true at that whoever or which books or films or anything contradicts the narrative of Mujibism was being shut down, was being I think sidelined and things like that. But again, there are ideologically driven forces in power elites, in middle class composition, who really believes that without Awami League we cannot secure secularism, we cannot secure liberal liberty and rights and things like that. So I think they didn't understand because of the cultural hegemony Awami League had for a long time, and it has started from 60s, not after 71. It has started by Bengali nationalism, and before 71, Bengali nationalism was a progressive movement, was a movement for Bengalis self identification, and for their emancipation from Pakistani Janta. But after 71, it became an ideology for suppression, for segregation, for division among Bangladeshi community, even along the line with Islam and secularism. So I think this is where middle class composition and power elites have supported Awami League. Okay, you really against Islamist, you don't let them come to the city. It happened in 2013, but okay, we are with that. We are okay with that. But you give us money, you give us all incentives in power. If you can, have this understanding that ICT division and power companies, they had a good understanding, and many from different ministries, they had a good understanding with power elites, with big corporations and media and cultural establishment. You can see the nexus among the power elites, that okay, we are giving you support in narratives, in ideological understanding and cultural groomings and things like that. Okay, and you are giving us money through different our companies, our corporations. So you can see the nexus.
No, I agree. So at the heart of it actually is a very entrenched fear of the other, of Islamism, and that fear of Islamism in the middle class was exploited by the Awami League to create its architecture of the ideological architecture, which. So we are not disagreeing. I think
yes.
So I think that but very few people really believed in it. But they believed in it enough that
because of the fear of the fear of non-progressive political actors coming into power or coming snatching away whatever lifestyle we have.
So we will become Taliban. We will become so all of that. So I think this is a very important conversation to carry forward. I'm mindful of time, and I want to ask two more questions.
If we go for another 5 minutes, then we're going to open up.
Yeah. So I want to ask you two questions and then open up the space for discussion. The first is a question about the last 1 year, which is and we can spend a long time on it. But why do you think progress has been so slow on the trials, on the anti-corruption? There's also been a lot of discussion about corruption continuing just as before, that many people who are associated with the ruling group now are also engaged with some of that. So there is a lot of public irritation with this, right? So this is the first question. And the second question, which you might follow on immediately because of time constraints, is how do you see the future? So, what is the because I opened up by saying I'm very optimistic about that. So, I want to know what you see as the post-February future for Bangladesh, for you, for the student movement, for all of us.
Yeah.
And try to keep it within 5 minutes or so, so we can have a good discussion with the audience.
Yes, sure. So yes, I was from our study circle. We have this understanding. We knew about the political settlement and other things in study circles, and but in our narratives, political settlement went beyond political economy, rather different political power sources and distribution of power, as you talked about, and other things like ideology, question of ideology and culture. So I think the political settlement we talked about didn't happen, and for that reason, this kind of irritation and this kind of disenchantment is happening among people. That okay, it didn't happen because we talked about this triad of power, that military and civil bureaucracy, and media and cultural establishment, and the third one is about this corporation and big corporation and business. This oligarchs, yes. So these three were not destabilized by this government in last 1 year. We have tried our best. Okay, some secretaries, some posts. Okay, some people were being taken out from their post, and they were arrested, and they were into custody, and many things like okay, we are purging out our secretariat and things like that. And in businesses, okay, Salman Efroman and others are being jailed, and they are having this trial, and okay, but the money has not gone anywhere. It is into Bangladesh, and they are being circulated. They are being preserved and sustained by different kind of arrangement among political parties. So political parties, I am not naming anyone, they are now custodian of the capitals of fallen regime. And about this cultural and media establishment, this is the same. And about this bureaucracy, military and civil bureaucracy, okay, it is now being formed through BNP Jamaat understanding among them. So when it is like okay, in upper part it is in upper echelon it is about BNP Jamaat understanding, and Aomi League is out from secretariat. They are not, because among 16 lakh, presumably among 16 lakh government job holders, nearly 1 million is was appointed by Aomi League. So they are not going anywhere. And I have tried from my ministry to sack some people, and it could have costed me like nearly 100 crore taka. So you cannot just sack anyone right away. You have to.
How would it cost you 100 crore taka in compensation?
Yes, in compensation, I have to give him money because he's a government job holders. So like this, there are 1,000 crores of money needed if you want to get rid of this people, and these people are not positioned in just in higher ups. Rather, they are is still their peon. They are now the mukhbarat in Arabic. Mukhbarat means uh, the the intelligence of officials. So they so the for that reason this government is now in this glass house situation. Everyone, no video, please. So this government is now in this glass house situation because from BNP, from Jamaat, and from Awami League, they have their own officers. The students have no officers of their own. Students have sympathizers from BNP officers, Jamaat officers, and some rebellious Awami League officers. Okay, we have done wrong. Okay, we want to work with you. This kind of, and they were not into this kind of political movement, but they were supporting Sheikh Mujib and 71 things like that. But this is the problem, that this whole political establishment didn't break. Rather, it was reconstructed not by students, not by revolutionary forces, not by any revolutionary ideas, rather by the same old political understanding by from coming out from BNP and Jamaat. For that reason, it is there, and foolish are still doing what they were doing before uprising, because of the condition, because of the clientele relationship among patron client relationship among political leaders and businessmen and other stakeholders in society. You know about this local local level of local judiciary and local governance. In these two places, there is no accountability because government is not there. Government is in Dhaka, and there and in local, you know about this local district judge or something like in local government, like over sub district administration. I think BNP and Jamaat and other political leaders are there, not government. So they are having this understanding among themselves, I mean, even with Naomi League, that okay, we are letting you go, you give the money. You were and you know about this video that you have eaten for 15 years, and you have eaten khichuri, and you have eaten biryani. Now we are eating biryani. When we will be caught, we will go, and then you will come and you will eat biryani. So this
It's
is
a political settlement.
the political settlement we have, right? So I think the students aspiration and our generation's aspiration was shattered, and I think it is going to be reconstructed again. And hope is there that our generation and students and different people from different professions will come together, and they will build a new system, because it is all about the settlement or system or arrangement, whatever it is. It is about this uh, three the triad of power, that military, civil bureaucracy, media and cultural establishment, and the businessmen and oligarchs. They are fueling each other. They are saving each other face and each other's back even. So okay, you want to go to abroad, I am some from bureaucracy is dealing with that about passport and everything. So your business is safe in Bangladesh, in the hands of other political parties. I'm not naming anyone. So this is the settlement, and this has created a huge crisis in trust, yeah, and about the change and about the prospect of Bangladesh. But I think it will change over the course of time, and it will take more years to come. So
But I think that I'm optimistic because, and I will just end, because precisely that what has happened in July last year unleashed new social forces. The new social forces, and I see it in Bangladesh when I'm doing my work, they are frustrated, but they will not go home. And I think that there's a huge potential now for creating these networks to put pressure on the political parties to break up that political settlement, understanding it as a distribution
this
of
is
power.
true. This is
And I think we just need a few successful prosecutions of these big oligarchs.
oh yes.
And some of us are working on that. Let's hope that we succeed. But it needs a shakeup. It needs a shakeup. It will not change overnight in one big go. But I think the process that has started cannot be stopped. On that note, I will stop now and hand over to our extremely ferocious, who
terrifying
will
chair.
control the conversation.
That's
Thank you.
great. Thank you so much. I'm going to say a couple of things first, which is there will be no political speeches. We don't want it. This is more of a comment than a question. We only want questions, and you'll have 30 seconds to make your questions. I will accept 3 in a row, and then we'll move on to the next people. Woman at the back there, please. Yes.
Hi there.
Could you introduce yourselves? Tell us your name and where you're from, please.
My name is Shamim Chowdhury. I'm a freelance journalist, and since the uprising, I've been spending considerable time in Bangladesh reporting for NPR, which is an American radio network, and I've been traveling up and down the country. I met Abu Said's parents. I went up to Rangpur, so I think I've got a reasonable grasp of the direction in which the country is moving, etc. My question is it right? Is it democratic that the Awami League's activities should be banned in Bangladesh?
Great question. Next.
Okay. I don't know if I okay.
Thanks, Mahfuza.
It's just that
You mentioned Bengali nationalism. Personally, I think Bengali nationalism, the roots of...
Is this a question?
I'm coming, just one second. It's the roots of Awami League's fascism. It's inevitable. I saw, for the first time, Nurul Haq Nur and his group challenging Bengali nationalism. Not through, I think, historical or intellectual understanding.
Question.
Your understanding of Bengali nationalism, the way you challenged their domination, was it through historical deep understanding, or did you feel intuitively that it was wrong, that Bengali nationalism was suppressing your culture, your cultural identity?
An excellent question. Briefly, sorry, the lady behind you first, please. Yes. Thank you. Excellent question, but keep it brief.
My name is Sami Akhtar and I'm a UK correspondent of Daily Sangram Pratidin. So you just said that you became an advisor just for giving instruction to advisor, and otherwise he will get trouble like this. Even still in Bangladesh, people protested against of you and demanding to resign from your advisor position. So why you are still believe that yourself that you are worthy of holding your position?
Okay.
Are you? And also, people feel free to ask questions in Bangla. We'll take your responses to those first. Take your responses to that first, and then we're going to.
Okay, for three, I will go.
Yeah,
Yes.
go for those first, and then we'll go to the next.
About Awami League activities, I think it was being talked about many times that Awami League, without repentance, without regret, without recognizing their past and their atrocities, they shouldn't be part of the democracy right now. And for the first time, I have talked about Awami League's repentance and truth and reconciliation process on 16th August, even before I entered into government. So I was talking about that, okay, come to this reality that you have done wrong to the people of Bangladesh and you have to move forward, move on. But they didn't listen to the sanity, they didn't listen to the reason, they didn't listen to the reality. I think it is something like, okay, in democracy you cannot have this ideological thugs and ideological goons who will kill people on the line of ideology, on this understanding that we have to kill someone to sustain our ideology. So it's something ferocious. It's something like terrorism. So it is like, okay, if you want to come to democracy, you come through democratic ideals and democratic. And the repentance and regret is something democratic. If you have something to take part in Bangladesh, you have to go through this understanding that you have done wrong, and you have to move on. And if you want to move on, you have to be facing the people of Bangladesh who were betrayed by you, by your government. So I think this is the question of democratic participation. Yes. And
Got some support for that.
yeah, okay. And about Bengali nationalism, I think obviously our circle was trying to understand this through historical and ideological and cultural narratives, because Bengali nationalism, I have this appraisal. I am not in this understanding like, okay, you have to go against Bengali nationalism all along, because Bengali nationalism was necessary before 71. But after 71, it became some ideological tools for sustaining the narratives and oppression of Awami League. For that reason, we have to critique it. But you cannot just, okay, Bengal nationalism is bad and we are not with this. So we were critiquing Bengali nationalism, not criticizing or not shunning it away altogether. Bengal nationalism is needed for our understanding of our Bengali identity, our Bengali culture and things. But to what extent and for what ends? So it will depend on our understanding and our critique. And about our my worth, I think obviously I was there. I was included into the government for this representation from political from uprising forces, from the people, from the students side. And I think our duties was to convey the message of students and make it clear to the advisory council and to the people at large that what we are doing and what we want to do. So I think I have done my part, and if necessary, if it is a people's request, not some fringe element, then I will resign. But this is, I think Bangladeshi people want us students in power and in accountable, in power with accountability, with transparency, and we are still holding our position because of the trust and because of the confidence of people. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. So, Sunil, we're going to take some from this side now. There's a lady there. Put your hand up. Yeah. There's two ladies, in fact, one in front of each other. Yeah. First you, and then this gentleman here in the white shirt, and then. Remember, we want. No. So you're going second. Don't worry. Short questions and not a lecture. Thank you.
I'll try my best. Cool. I'm Zarin. Born and brought up in Bangladesh. তবে একটু বাংলায় বলি, অনেকদিন বাংলা বলি নাই।
প্লিজ আমিও বলতে চাই, অনেক করে ইংলিশে বলতেছি।
তাহলে আমরা এতক্ষণ যে এই যে লাস্ট পয়েন্ট যেটা বললেন যে অ্যাকাউন্টেবিলিটি আমাদের দেশের মানুষের থাকবে এবং আপনাদেরকে আমরা অ্যাকাউন্টেবল ধরছি, এখানে এই আমাদের এই যে কেয়ারটেকার গভর্নমেন্ট এটা আসার পর থেকেই কিন্তু ইলেকশন হোক চাচ্ছেন, এটা যেই পার্টিগুলো চাচ্ছে তাদেরকে এতদিন দমায় রাখা হয়েছিল। এখন শেখ হাসিনা যাওয়ার পর এখন ওরা এসেছে, আবার আওয়াজ হচ্ছে এই যে ইলেকশন হবে, এটার পর যে অ্যাকাউন্টেবিলিটিটা, এটার জন্য আমরা কিভাবে মানে আপনারা কিভাবে প্রিপেয়ার করছেন?
ওকে,
ভালো প্রশ্ন তো। There's one here, white shirt. I put your hand up, please. And then this lady next. Okay, you go next then. Why don't you go next?
Good afternoon. Actually, my name is Farjan Afroz. As a BT citizen, I'm very concerned. I have some issue, but it's very short time. I can't tell you.
We'd like a question, please.
Yeah. So
There's
actually,
no question. Can you pass the microphone back?
sorry.
You have a question.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, আপনারা বলেছেন যে আপনারা ফেব্রুয়ারিতে ইলেকশন করতে যাচ্ছেন। তো এখানে 50% পিপল সেখানে জয়েন করতে পারছে না। এটা কি তাদের ডেমোক্রেটিক রাইটকে আপনারা কি ওটা ডেমোক্রেটিক রাইট থেকে তারা ডিপ্রাইভ হচ্ছে না, তাদেরকে কি বঞ্চিত করছে না? এটা কি ঠিক হচ্ছে এই ইলেকশন করাটা? তারপর আনাদার থিং, মবক্রেসি, হোল কান্ট্রি একদম মবক্রেসিতে ভরে গেছে, সেখানে মানুষের কোনো নিরাপত্তা নেই। ইভেন লাস্ট উইক ওয়ান কর্পস, ডেড বডি, দে ডিগ আপ ফ্রম দ্য গ্রেভস অ্যান্ড দে সেট অন ফায়ার। ইটস ভেরি হরিফাইং, রিয়েলি I am unbelievable. So what you are going as a part of government?
Yes.
Please.
Good. Thank you. And 50% not going to the election? Oh, really?
Okay, I will come to the question.
Okay. My name is Ayub Koromali, and I'm representing an organization called Citizens for Reforms in Bangladesh. It's a UK-based organization. My question to you, as a member of the interim government, so those of us who support the July Revolution are very closely following the debates and discussions around the July Declaration. And we are becoming somewhat frustrated. You set up a process which is fine to involve the commissions that were set up. Now the commission has come up with a set of recommendations, yeah? And one party in particular becoming very difficult. Now, the revolutionaries are saying that we want to get on with the reforms, including those who have constitutional implications. But other parties are saying, no, after the election, yeah? Parliamentary route, yeah? Why are you sitting on the fence on this issue? Because you are put in this responsibility with the massive, with a massive mandate from the July Revolution. Why are you not using your power to be a bit more directive?
Because we're running out of time, I'm going to have two more short questions. Dr. Bhai, very brief. Can we have the microphone, please?
একটা প্রশ্ন হলো যে
একটু মাইকের জন্য অপেক্ষা করেন, please.
ডিফেন্সে আপনারা কেন এই স্কুল যারা শেষ করলো সেই ছাত্র এবং ইন্টারমিডিয়েট যারা শেষ করলো তাদেরকে 3 মাসের জন্য ডিফেন্স ট্রেনিং দিচ্ছেন না কেন, এবং এদেরকে আর্মিতে এবং পুলিশে নিচ্ছেন না কেন?
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে, thank you. One last one there, and that's the very last one. Everyone wants to talk. I'm sorry, everyone wants to talk. We can't talk.
I'm Nazrul. I'm working in media for last 40 years in the UK. Mr. Mahfuj, I would like to request you, like Daksu election and Jaksu election, can you request your friend Sajib, Asif Mahmood Sajib Bhuya, to give order to all the colleges to do the Chhatra Sanshad election?
Oh, okay.
And please note that point, because last 3 decades there was no elections in colleges and universities. So my humble request to you that you should arrange it. Thank you.
Really a question, but anyway, thank you very much.
Is there a suggestion? Yes.
Please take this question.
So বাংলায় ওনার কোশ্চেন বাংলাতে উত্তর
যে কোনো
যে বাংলায় হচ্ছে যে অ্যাকাউন্টেবিলিটি জিনিসটা হচ্ছে যে আমরা তো হচ্ছে যে স্টুডেন্টস আপরাইজিং থেকে আসছি, ফর দ্যাট রিজন আমরা এটা ফিল করি এবং আমাদের গভর্নমেন্টও এটা ফিল করে, বিকজ আমরা একটা ট্রানজিশনাল গভর্নমেন্ট, আমাদের কাছে ট্রানজিশনটা সুন্দর মতো করে দিয়ে যাওয়া। কিন্তু যারা 5 বছরের ম্যান্ডেট নিয়ে আসবে তাদের জন্য এটা একটু আসলেই টাফ, তাদের ব্যাপারে এটা নিশ্চিত করা। বাট উই আর হ্যাভিং সাম রিফর্মস লাইক কনস্টিটিউশনাল রিফর্মস, কিছু হয়তো আমরা নজির তৈরি করে দিয়ে যাচ্ছি, যে কারণে হয়তো তারা ফিল করবে যে না, পিপল উইল হ্যাভ দিস কাইন্ড অফ, যেটা মুস্তাক ভাই বলতেছিলেন যে এই একটা সোশ্যাল ফোর্সেস রেডি হচ্ছে। হ্যাঁ, সোশ্যাল ফোর্সেসের কিছু প্রবলেম আছে, মব জাস্টিস থেকে শুরু আরও কিছু ইস্যুস আছে, বাট এগেইন তারা একটু কনসার্নড, এবং আমাদের যে জেনারেশন রেডি হয়েছে স্কুল কলেজ থেকে তারা অনেক কনসার্ন যে আসলে কিভাবে রাষ্ট্রটা চলে। এবং আমাদের গত 1 বছরে আমাদের জেনারেশন ক্রিকেট দেখে নাই, ফুটবল দেখে নাই, দে ওয়ার ওয়াচিং পলিটিক্স। সো দিস ইজ হোয়ার বাংলাদেশ ইজ হেডিং টুয়ার্ডস। এটার অনেকগুলো ফিটফল আছে, বাট অ্যাগেইন ইট হ্যাজ সাম থিং লাইক সামনে যেই আসবে না কিনা ক্ষমতায় তাকে অবশ্যই অ্যাকাউন্টেবল হইতে হবে টু দ্য জেনারেশন, টু আওয়ার জেনারেশন। ইয়েস, অ্যান্ড অ্যাবাউট ইউর কোয়েশ্চেন 50%, I think okay, don't laugh. She has all right to ask questions. Yes, she has all rights to question, but point is আপনি বাংলাতেই বলি তাহলে আরো একটু ভালো মতো বলতে পারবো। সেটা হচ্ছে আওয়ামী লীগ যেই হারে ভোট পায় সেটা হচ্ছে যে 91, 96, 2001 and 2008 এটা ধরে করছেন। তো 2008-এ আওয়ামী লীগ একটা বড় ভোট পাইছে 48%। 48% ধরে আপনি যদি 50% ধরে থাকেন অথবা জাতীয় পার্টি ধরে, দ্যাট ইজ নট রাইট নাও। কারণ আপনি গত 3টে ইলেকশন করেন নাই। আপনি ইউজুয়ালি ধরেন বাংলাদেশের প্রত্যেকটা ইলেকশন সাইকেলে যেই দল আগে থাকে সেই দলের বিরুদ্ধে ভোট হয়। সো ইট ইজ লাইক ওকে 30% ভোট পায়, বিএনপি ইউজুয়ালি 30% ভোট পায়। তো আমি মনে করি যে না, আওয়ামী লীগের যেই ভোট আছে এই ভোট শেয়ার এত বেশি, এবং আওয়ামী লীগের ভোট যদি ভোট কাউন্টের ভিতরে থাকতো বা আওয়ামী লীগ যদি এরকম ডমিনেন্ট ফোর্স হইতো, আমি তো ছাত্রলীগের অধীনে আওয়ামী লীগের মানে ক্যাম্পাসে ছিলাম। সো ক্যাম্পাসে কিন্তু 85% ভোট পড়ছে। সো it is not 50%, it is like okay 10 to 15%, everyone is talking about that, some data are there, but আওয়ামী লীগের যে 10-15% যারা ফ্যামিলি, ধরেন if you are one of them, but যে আওয়ামী লীগের, আমার বাবা আওয়ামী লীগ করতো 71-এ ছিল, বা ফর মেনি রিজনস আওয়ামী লীগ তো সাপোর্ট করতেই পারে মানুষ, বাট আমি বলতেছি যে তারা তো ইলেকশনের বাইরে নাই, বরং তারা তো ব্যক্তিগতভাবে তারা তো ভোট দিতে পারবে, এবং তারা যাকে ইচ্ছা তাকে ভোট দিতে পারবে, যাকে মনে করবে তারা যে ডেমোক্রেসি এবং তারা যে আইডিয়ালসের জন্য আগ্রহী সেই আইডিয়াতে তারা তো ভোটাধিকার তো তাদের কেড়ে নেওয়া হচ্ছে না, তাদের ডেমোক্রেটিক রাইটস আছে, এভরি রাইটস দে হ্যাভ রাইট নাও। অ্যান্ড আই থিঙ্ক এই 50% এই জিনিসটা আমি মনে করি টেনেবল না, এবং এটা অনেক কম। আমাদের এলাকাতেও আছে, এখনো আছে, আওয়ামী লীগ করে, আমাদের আত্মীয়রাও আছে, কিন্তু ওরা হচ্ছে এই যে ট্র্যাডিশনাল আওয়ামী লীগ ফ্যামিলি। বাট আওয়ামী লীগ যখন থাকবে না, ইভেন অ্যাট সাম অনেকগুলো ইলেকশন আওয়ামী লীগের লোকরা কিন্তু দেখা যায় অন্য দলকেই ভোট দেয়, এবং বিএনপির লোকরা কোনো কোনো সময় জামাতের লোককে ভোট দিছে, জামাতের লোকরা বিএনপিকে ভোট দিছে, দে হ্যাভ ভোটিং রাইটস। কিন্তু এটার জন্য আওয়ামী লীগ থাকাটা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ না, কারণ আমি আওয়ামী লীগের বিষয়ে কোয়েশনের জবাব দিচ্ছি, বিকজ আওয়ামী লীগ ইজ নট এ ডেমোক্রেটিক ফোর্স। এবং হ্যাঁ, আওয়ামী লীগের আপনি আপনি ব্যক্তিগতভাবে আওয়ামী লীগের আইডিয়ালস বিশ্বাস করতে পারেন ভোট দিতে। না, ইফ ইউ আর নট, আমি কোনোভাবে আপনাকে ইমপ্লিকেট করতেছি না। দ্য থিং ইজ তার ভোট শেয়ার আসলে এতটুকু নাই, কারণ আমরা গত 3টে ইলেকশন করতে পারি না, এটা 1 নম্বর। আর সেকেন্ড জিনিস হচ্ছে আমাদের যে জেনারেশন, এটা খুব আনইউনিভার্সলি এটা কিন্তু আওয়ামী লীগের বিরুদ্ধে রায় দিছে। সো আই থিঙ্ক এই ভোট শেয়ারটা অনেক কমে আসবে ইফ উই আর ডিবেটিং অন দিস। না 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 না, ভোট দিতে দেওয়া হচ্ছে না এরকম না, ভোট আপনিও দিতে পারবেন গিয়ে বাংলাদেশে ইফ ইউ আর আওয়ামী লীগ সাপোর্টার, বাট ভোটিং রাইটস আপনার আছে, বাট ইউ আর নট গোয়িং টু ভোট ফর আওয়ামী লীগ। ইয়েস।
That's right. Any other questions you want to answer? Was there a last question to answer?
Oh yes, about that. আমি বললাম যে আপনার যেটা কোয়েশ্চেন এটা তো ইংলিশে করছেন, বাট এগেইন বাংলাতে বলি, অনেকক্ষণ বাংলা বলতেছি না। আপনার হচ্ছে যে যেটা কোয়েশ্চেন ছিল অ্যাবাউট আমি কেন নিজে না না জুলেশনের, ইটস অল অ্যাবাউট নেগোসিয়েশন এবং পলিটিক্যাল পার্টিস। আপনি বাংলাদেশে গত 6 মাসে যেটা হয়েছে এটা আনপ্রেসিডেন্টেড, যে এতগুলো পলিটিক্যাল পার্টি বসে কথা বলতেছে অ্যাবাউট ফিউচার, অ্যাবাউট সাম রিফর্মস এবং সাম রিফর্মস প্রপোজিশনস। এইটা বাংলাদেশে আনপ্রেসিডেন্টেড। আমরা কখনোই আমাদের আওয়ামী লীগ বিএনপি তো অনেক কথা বলে এখন, কিন্তু আওয়ামী লীগ বিএনপি কখনো একটা টেবিলে বসতে দেখছেন আপনারা আপনাদের জীবদ্দশায়, যে দে আর টকিং ইচ আদার, তারা কথা বলতেছে অ্যাবাউট দ্য ফিউচার অফ দ্য নেশন, অ্যাবাউট দ্য জেনারেশন, অ্যাবাউট অল দোজ থিংস রিলেভেন্ট টু পলিটিক্স। সো আমরা বলতেছি কালচার হিসেবে এটা অনেক দূর আমরা এগোতে পারছি, যে ঠিক আছে আমরা কথা বলতেছি এবং আমরা জানি যেটা সম্ভব। এখন সনদের বিষয়ে, সনদ বাস্তবায়নের বিষয়ে যে লিগাল অ্যান্ড কনস্টিটিউশনাল ব্যারিয়ারগুলো আছে, বা কনস্টিটিউশনাল যেই আমরা বলতেছি যে এটা দরকার আছে আমাদের, আমি মনে করি যে সেটা খুব শীঘ্রই এটা সমাধান হবে, এবং অনেকগুলো মিনস এক্সপ্লোর করা হচ্ছে যাতে এটা কনসলিডেট করা যায়, জুলাই সনদকে কনসলিডেট করা যায়, আমাদের অ্যাসপাইরেশনগুলোকে কনসলিডেট করা যায়। সো উই আর বিং হোপফুল, দ্যাটস ইট রাইট নাও। বাট আমরা জানি যে এখানে তো প্রত্যেকটা পলিটিক্যাল পার্টি কিছু অ্যাডভান্টেজ নিতে চায়, কিছু তারা যাতে একটু অ্যাকাউন্টেবিলিটি আড়াইতে পারে, তারা যাতে আরেকটু মোর গ্রিফিয়ে রেখে সরকার চালাইতে পারে। Everyone wants that, yes, but আমাদের দায়িত্ব হচ্ছে যত বেশি অ্যাকাউন্টেবল এন্ড যত বেশি ট্রান্সপারেন্ট রাখার চেষ্টা করা, যত বেশি রিফর্ম ওরিয়েন্টেড রাখা। সো উই আর ট্রাইং, ইয়েস। ওকে, আর ডিফেন্স, আই থিঙ্ক দিস ইজ নট টেনেবল ইন বাংলাদেশ। এটা আমার হচ্ছে এক লাইন উত্তর। বরং আমাদের কিন্তু প্যারামিলিটারি ফোর্সেস আছে, লাইক আমাদের ওই যে বিএনসিসি আছে, আমাদের আরো কিছু আনসার আছে, আমাদের 16 লাখের মতো আনসার আছে। হ্যাঁ, মানে আমি যদি ভুল না বলি সংখ্যাটা একটু কম বেশ হবে। সো আমাদের কিছু ফোর্স আছে। এখন এটা চাইলে আনসারে চাইলে আপনি প্রশিক্ষণ নিতে পারেন, বাট যে ম্যান্ডেটরি যে ডিফেন্স ট্রেনিং, এটা অনেক ওই আলোচনাটা হয়েছিল অভ্যুত্থানের পরে, বাট আই থিঙ্ক এটা টেনেবল না বাংলাদেশের জন্য। নাও উই আর নিয়ারলি 6 to 7 crore, ইয়েস। এবং বিভিন্ন দেশে যাদের উদাহরণ দেন তাদের ওখানে 1-2 মিলিয়নও ইয়াং পিপল নাই। সো উই আর, আমরা অনেক, এবং আমাদের এটা আমরা মনে করি যে এটা আমাদের যে সোসাইটি খুবই ইউনিটারি একটা রিপাবলিক আমরা, এবং আরও কিছু ক্রাইসিস আছে যেটার কারণে এটা সম্ভব না। সো ইট ইজ নট টেনেবল ইন বাংলাদেশ রাইট নাও, বাট বাংলাদেশের ডিফেন্সের ইস্যুটা তো আপনারা সবাই জানেন, সো এটা আমি ব্যাখ্যা করতে যাব না। বাট আমি মনে করি যে কিছু আমাদের ইনস্টিটিউশন আছে, আনসার, তারপরে বিএনসিসি আছে, আরও কিছু প্যারামিলিটারি ফোর্সেস আছে, এনাফ ফর নাও। পুলিশে নতুন ভাবে one question. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but actually there are a lot of people who work in this institution who have been working all day and need to go home now. I'm very sorry. that we haven't had time to have questions from everyone, but I think that Mahfouz has given us a very, very interesting conversation. I think we are very, very grateful to you for coming here. And I've been absolutely fascinated by your words. And I really wish you were doing a PhD with us instead of running Bangladesh government.
That was on record. I am saying this that আমি তো আসার আগে আমরা স্টাডি সার্কেল করতাম, পড়াশোনা করতাম, তো হাসিনা তো 23 সালে যায় নাই, তো এভরিওয়ান ইজ ট্রাইং টু গো টু আবার এখন আর সম্ভব না 28 সালের আগে, তো একটা পিএইচডি করে আসে আবার ট্রাই করি। আমার ইচ্ছা ছিল যে সোয়াস, and it has a
আসেন না,
good
Let's-
South
you
Asian
should apply, definitely.